Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 3245, 3245, and Mike Matthews here at Café Anyway, somewhere in podCastro Valley, the last place on earth.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
In the land of Ameritica, what's going on with you? You've been listening to podcasts today. I see that's nothing new, but you got to this one. And what's Mike going to cover on this show? Baby, some stuff about celebrities you didn't know, like the movie starlet with the most money, Zoe Saldana.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Danya dethroned Scarlett Johansson and now sits atop the list of the highest grossing actors
Podcast.
with a massive total of, I don't even know what that number is, at the worldwide box office. It's very high up. I'm seeing it. Would it be 16? It looks like 16,859,193,100. Okay, I guess I was right at the worldwide box office in that run of numbers. And as you know, Mike had a communication studies degree, not a mathematics degree, not a chemistry degree, not a computer science degree, or an algorithm degree, or calculus degree. So that was very difficult for me. So you should applaud. Thank you. Maybe even give me a bell. A ding. Thank you. Well, that's all because of... Oh, this is why she's got all this money? Avatar. Oh. Why? I don't... Do you... Let me ask you, if you're a huge Avatar fan, do you just go to one of these YouTube channels that all they do is AI videos and just sit there and watch them all and go, this is real? Anyway, multiple stints as well Zoe has had with Marvel in that Guardians of the Galaxy is it Gamora?
And here's today's podcast picture.
It certainly isn't Gamora, the flying turtle with the fire that comes out. Wow. Podcast picture's not of Gamora or Gamera or turtles, but of yours truly, Mike Matthews, over there with my bald head, over there near El Cerrito Plaza in Albany. This was on Saturday and a beautiful sunset was happening, and people may complain about California all year long and hate us and go, oh, your taxes, you're so liberal. And then they get hit with snow. And then they go, I wish I was in California. The late great Basil the Boxer grew up and lived in California, loved it. He and I don't know if I ever took him to Albany. But, we were close by at Point Isabel with the biggest dog park in the Bay Area. It's so wonderful. I guess unless you count Fort Funston. And he ran around there and had a blast. But yes, I mean, everyone. Oh, you guys are ruining. You got all your huge homeless problem. And you're a bunch of liberals. And your gas prices are too high. And then our weather is utterly way better. I guess if you were living in Florida. But then Florida gets super humid, I know, because my mom lived there and I'd go visit her and melt. But that's a beautiful state. I'm happy to tell you that just about anywhere I have been in this great country.
Life grand.
I thought it was grand. I thought it was grand, places that I went to. And I lived in Alabama for 2 years, except for the bugs and the humidity. I thought it was grand. Met some great people. I don't know. I didn't spend too much time in the New England area or in I almost moved to Colorado. So, and I did go to Iowa when I was a kid, but there are some very cool, and then that's why I love RV or TV. The guy that stopped by on the last podcast that said, isn't this cool? Because he hits all those states and I go, dang, he doesn't drive an RV, but he drives a converted van that he's got a bed in and a little kitchenette. But I would love to do that kind of thing and travel across the country. And it is the anniversary of Route 66 this year. So that's another thing, traveling across many cool states in this great land. But I don't know if Zoe Saldana does this. But she also made a lot of money off of those Star Trek movies. She did 3 of them. Really? There were 3? I saw the first one. Okay. The second one, yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch is Khan. Oops. And then there was the third one that guy did. That's a huge fan of. He was Scotty wrote the script. The guy that plays Scotty, and I'm blanking on his name, but he's huge with all the British nerds that love the British sci-fi.
News random.
Simon Pegg. There we go. That just pegged my brain. As well as she was huge in the 2003 mega hit Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Oh yeah, she was in that. She had that cool paint on her face. Okay. So she's done, I mean, she works hard. Good for her. She makes the money. I didn't know Scarlett Johansson was that high up on the list, but there she goes. She's been dethroned. Speaking of movies, and did you know about this?
Mike's scavenger hunt.
As I go on my scavenger hunt here, that you can watch the video to this podcast at my website, mikesdailypodcast.com. Just look for the thing that says, you can watch Mike's videos here. You can see a video of the podcast here. Click on that. It'll take you to my Twitch account. And you can watch me live on Twitch. Sometimes I'm live. And you can watch me actually doing the podcast. I just broadcast that live through Twitch because that's the amazing world in which we live. We can go live on social media platforms. Twitch, I don't think it's as big as it once. Well, it's getting bigger now with people like me that don't play video games, and musicians and songwriters, and people will collaborate on Twitch and have meeting spaces on Twitch versus the Facebook, which there's a little bit more limitations with that. YouTube, you got to have 1,000 subscribers. Ha 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 ha! That's a lot. And I ain't going to do that anytime soon, even though I might be kind of popular with some people.
For your entertainment,
like this person here.
the one, the only, Mike Matthews.
Thank you. And there are some other different social media that lets you go live. TikTok maybe lets you go live without that, if you don't have that many subscribers. I don't know. But I am on TikTok. If you go, you can find me at Mike's Daily Podcast. As we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica, with all these amazing topicas that we're getting to. But if you love Zoe Saldana, maybe you enjoy seeing movies. Movie theater attendance, however, is down by over 50%, 55% compared to the pre-pandemic highs. Pre-pandemic, woo! Movies were huge. I think I still went and saw a couple movies. I think Tom Hanks, he was in all of them. I don't know why. I guess at my age, that's the kind of movies we see are ones with Tom Hanks. Then the pandemic hit. Theaters closed. The AMC, the American Movie Channel. No, wait.
The Mike Tip.
Whatever that movie chain is. That's the Mike Tip. Those theaters. Remember the stocks shot through the roof? The price of the stock. Like if you owned AMD, that's it. If you owned the stock for that company, suddenly, and you had held on to it, suddenly your stock was worth all this money. You could have sold it for a bunch of money. Apparently, movie theater attendance, despite all of that, wow shuts wow, the stock going up, stock falling down, etc. When the pandemic ended, movie theater attendance did not shoot back up to where it was pre-pandemic. And part of that might be the movies. And part of that is also how everything changed. Like you would wait now to see, you got used to watching movies streaming at home on your big flat screen. Let's admit it now, here in front of each other, that the flat screen TVs are so good. The movie theater attendance is down 55% compared to pre-pandemic highs, with cinemas here.
The Newsbleed section.
We're reading here in the Newsbleed section that U.S. cinemas are pulling in about 8.6. That would be an 8 with a point and a 6 billion, not a 6.7. Don't go crazy, youngins. You young folks that go crazy with the 6.7 thing. No, 8.6 billion. And why isn't 7.8 cool? I mean, that's the next progression, or an 8, 9. I don't. Anyway, $8.6 billion is how much U.S. cinemas pulled in. Maybe they were selling cinnamon. I don't know. In 2025, cinnamon's good for you, by the way. Throw that into stuff and it helps your body. And I think it's an antioxidant or a probiotic or something. But far below that, in 2019, it was way more than $8.6 billion the cinemas were making. In 2019, it was $11.4 billion. IMAX ticket sales, though, are a bright spot.
The Myclopedia Insanicon.
As I look in my Insanicon of the Myclopedia kind, that the movies, people that go see movies on IMAX screens, they're serious. They want to see the film. They're excited. They know that watching at home on the flat screen is not going to do it justice. They want to see it in absolute up close and personal and clear and be immersed. They love the Tom Cruise that much or whatever it is. So that is actually up 40% from a year ago, the IMAX ticket sales. Some theater operators are hopeful that in fact, they're doing premium offerings. Cinema, I'm going to just keep calling it cinnamons. Cinnamon chains like Vue, V-U-E, like my old Saturn Vue. Saturn was a car company, and they had this cool SUV that they called the Vue, V-U-E. Not View as in V-I-E-W, like The View, with those women that are opinionated and either get people
Matthews News.
They either get mad covering the news, the Matthews News, and you get mad at them talking about the news and giving their opinions, or you're like, yes, I totally agree with her. Either way. But the VUE chain is rolling out ultra luxe seats, which have built-in champagne coolers. Wow. I saw Adam Sandler's movie, something Zohan, don't upset the Zohan or whatever it is. And he's some kind of hairstylist. Very kooky, weird, goofy movie. And I remember we had a glass of wine watching it, and it made it oh so much better. And we laughed a lot because we were with some people that laugh at anything, and they were just going nuts. Their heads were popping off. They were laughing so hard with this Adam Sandler movie, with these reclining seats and these places to put your wine.
It's a nightmare of a show.
Okay, back to, as we clear things up, don't want my show to be too much of a nightmare. There's also a movie chain called Odeon that introduced its Lux Sweet Pods. It's a private cocoon that's great for date nights and great for families. Might be great for starting families. And they also have front row VIP beds. Yes, beds in their theaters. What? That's Odeon, O-D-E-O-N. And the price range for those tickets are up to $47 a movie. The Stranger Things finale, that played at 620 theaters from December 31st to January 1st. That brought in an estimated $25 million from Cinnamons. Delicious Cinnamons. Cinnabuns, you got to avoid.
First of all, I just want to thank everyone for joining us here on this show. This is great.
So not healthy for you. Do you know that Cinnabon, they actually put the ovens as close to the front of the shop so that the smell gets out there into the mall and grabs your nose when you're walking around, let's say, in Hot Topic. Is that Hot Topic's not around anymore, is it? Or is it Forever 21's gone? One of those stores. It grabs your nose, H&M, whatever. They pull you in, and then it's a solid, bad sugar, fat, everything else thrown in there. Something to avoid, but yet they're still around. And they were brilliant because they decided we're going to open in movie theaters, and that did it. That's what movie theaters in malls, where there are sometimes movie theaters. I remember my mom dropping me off at a movie theater in the Northridge Mall. She goes, I'm going to drop you off here because her work was not too far from there. She says, go watch this movie and I'll be back. It was the 70s, folks. This is what parents did.
Well, I like
I'm not going to whine about it.
Whiny white man whineless.
It's too late to whine about it now. It happened 50 years ago, but she just dropped me. Yeah, I think I was around 7 or 8. She just dropped me off at the movie theater. She saw a movie she thought would be really good for kids. And I sat in this movie, some kind of a sad, there was a dog that died. Oh, I was just torn up. My mom went to pick me up and I'm crying. And she knew maybe she did a bad thing. She should check those movies a little bit better next time. Maybe don't send your kid to a movie theater by themselves. I'm sure if my mom was still alive today, she would not remember anything I'm talking about right now, but I remember it vividly at the Northridge Mall, which got hit very hard during the big earthquake that happened in the early 90s. So what else is happening that's fascinating to you and me and to young people today? How about Generation Z? And let's talk about Generation Alpha, the folks born between 2010 and 2025. They're already making a significant impact on household spending and consumer behavior. They are the most technologically immersed generation yet. They have access to digital learning tools, AI-powered education. They're expected to be highly engaged in societal issues, influenced by climate change awareness and social justice movements. And they are already spreading influence. They are accounting for 27% of household discretionary spending. Yes, 27%. And driving nearly a third of digital spending. A third of it. They're online buying things. Like this amazing song that's called What's the Cliche?
What's the cliche of the week?
Where we're talking about
What's the cliche of the week?
cliches like digital spending.
What's the cliche of the week?
Oh, and they're also learning about money
What's the cliche of the week?
at an early age, setting them up, hopefully, to make smart financial decisions when they become adults. The decisions about what families buy and spend on, especially online, are being determined in part by these kids that are in elementary and middle school. Generation Alpha, their influence will shape the labor market, housing demand, and investment trends in the decades to come. Their economic footprint is estimated to be at almost $5.4 trillion. This was 2 years ago, but by 2029 it could reach $1.7 trillion. That according to Britoplan.com. Wow. That's fascinating. It's weird. All these. Have you lost track of all the generations? There's just so many of them. So many letters. A, Z, millennials, X, boomers. There used to be the greatest generation, but I don't know if they're still around anymore. I watched a documentary about how horrible the Blitz was during World War II in London. How they were getting hit night after night after night by the Nazis, flying overhead, dropping bombs. It's amazing that London, if you look at London today, it is one of the most expensive places to live now, aside from Paris and our very own, just down the street, San Jose, where the Super Bowl will be soon. And it is amazing how it came back after all that. But Lucy Worsley does a thing called the Blitz hysteria, or Blitz spirit. That's what it is. So, and then there is this interesting thing about the Alphabet-owned drone company, Wing. It's expanding its partnership with Walmart to include 150 more delivery locations. These locations include Los Angeles, St. Louis, Miami, and more by 2027, there should be 270 locations they're hoping to have. Wing says the top 25% of customers, they order drone delivery. 25%, the top 25, they get drone deliveries 3 times a week. So they're loving it. And speaking of flying, if you are someone that likes to travel by air. Air travel the gap between economy and premium cabins is turning into an economic and cultural split. Delta recently projected a 20% jump in earnings, driven almost entirely by high-income travelers. They said none of our growth in seats will be in the main cabin. Virtually all of it will be in the premium sector. And even with tariffs, inflation, and economic uncertainty, wealthy Americans are still spending aggressively on travel. Airlines are responding by pouring money into, upgraded lounges. I don't know if I've ever been in a lounge. That would be something. You just hang out there and lounge about. More spacious premium cabins. They're going to be having that. Exclusive membership tiers and priority services and perks like the lounges. Last quarter, Delta saw main cabin revenue actually fall by 7%, and premium seat revenue rose almost 10%. And that actually pushed premium earnings past coach for the first time. And that's where we are now, past coach. The earnings are more than coach. Economy becomes more bare bones with higher fares as airlines are allocating more space to premium seating. That means fewer main cabin seats and more crowded flights. And then there's also the checked bags that you got to deal with. So there's more paywalls going on between checking the bags and also seat selection. And should I spend more on a nicer seat? Oh, what? You spent more money on a nice seat? Wow. You're impressive. You know who else is impressive? This person here outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Meritopica. Hello, my name is Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor.
Oh my gosh!
The bottom of the chart.
It's the bottom of the charts, my friend.
Songs that never made it on the radio because people didn't think they were worth. But you know what? They come back up and people start playing them, and it's like, oh, where'd that come from?
Yeah, it is interesting when you hear an old song, isn't it, Shelley? That's true, Mike Matthews. That's why my new snow globe, they have like music that plays when you pick them up, Mike Matthews. You just got to be careful that they don't blow up. Chely Shoehart and her exploding snow globes. Yeah, that's something definitely to watch out for, is exploding snow globes. Well, at the bottom of the charts today, we're talking about the band Chely Fisher. That's with a C. Clymie, and then Fisher, Fisher. Or is there a C in there? Ficher, I forget. But it was two guys that performed some songs on this. I think they did 2 albums. One of them died. I think Fisher died. Fisher was in a band too called Naked Eyes that had the huge hit Always Something There to Remind Me in the 80s. And then also that You Made Me Promises, Promises. Well, Chely Fisher had I think it was maybe a top 20 or top 10 hit with Love Changes, It Changes Everything. Love breaks the rules, turns fools to kings. Do, 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 do. Yeah. I guess now, if you were to try and think of a band from the 80s, this was the late 80s, by the way, you might not remember them. But I think the two collaborated. Well, between the two of them, they wrote other songs. I think it was Simon Chely, wrote a song called My Heart Can't Tell You No. That was a big hit for Rod Stewart in the late 80s. When the one you love's in love with someone else, don't you know it's torture? I mean, it's a living hell. No matter how I try to convince myself, this time I won't lose control. 'Cause one look at your sad eyes and suddenly my heart can't tell you no. My heart can't tell you no. And he also did a song that Aretha Franklin did. And always, when people remember Aretha Franklin, they remember all her cool Motown stuff, but they always forget this song that was a huge hit for her. And George Michael, the one that goes, you knew I was waiting. I knew I was waiting for you. I didn't falter when the mountain was high. I still believed. Nothing stopped me, no. I knew I was waiting for you. Anyway, it got played a lot. I think that was definitely top 10. There were a lot of interesting duets in the 80s. There was also, Al Green did a song with Annie Lennox, the cover of Put a Little Love in Your Heart. And there was, another one that George Michael did a duet with Elton John, Wrap Her Up. There was the Ann Wilson song with the guy from Loverboy, Mike Reno. That one that was for Almost Paradise. Then on Seven's Door, Almost Paradise. And you had the Joe Cocker, Jennifer Warnes, Up Us Where We Belong. And then later on, I think there was that Beauty and the Beast song. Did that come on? No, that was early 90s with Celine Dion and Peabo Bryson. Anyway, Café Anyway, there was a bunch of duets going on. Oh, and the Dirty Dancing one, Jennifer Warnes and Bill Medley. Hey, if you think of other ones, you can call me. Here's the number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640. Will you shut ups? Liberty Nation Freedom Foam for all.
Look who else is here.
Hey, Mike, it's a disgruntled fiddle player telling you what.
What?
I'm hanging out with these guys. Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino the Parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we found some interesting old newspapers here. There.
Yeah, newspapers. Do you know that? Oh, yeah, look at that. That's of the Daily Post. It says here, okay, this newspaper I see is from 10 years ago. Health questions or statements on Siri, what they used to call the AI that Google had before Gemini was called Google Now. Samsung's S Voice, that was before they had Bixby, and Microsoft's Cortana, which that's now Copilot. The devices are good at getting discrete facts, things that are black and white, and not so good on context-based questions. The technology could be improved to better respond in a crisis. Not sure how it responds in a crisis now, but hey, that technology's been around a while. We think it's fairly new, but I guess it's existed for a while and had different names and different effects. Something else that didn't change much. It says here, experts, Trump is wrong on trade. Donald Trump has promised to shred America's trade deals and impose fines on imports from Mexico and China. This is, I guess, before tariffs. By attacking trade agreements, the Republican presidential frontrunner, he wasn't even president yet, is channeling the belief that foreign competition is robbing American jobs and shrinking wages. That's right. He was elected later in the year in 2016. We're being killed on trade, absolutely destroyed, he says. It says here, the United States does have unbalanced trade relationships with other nations. Last year, it imported almost $2.7 trillion in goods and services and exported just $2.2 trillion. That's a $540 billion gap, the trade deficit, and it was the 7th biggest on record. A trade deficit slows economic growth and can cost jobs. This, according to the folks at the Daily Post. And, well, we know that fight continues as Trump has tariffs going on. And we have going on the thing called the mainframe. And we're going to go to the mainframe now and hear from A-Frame. As we wrap up Mike's Daily Podcast with all things having to do with this show, here is A-Frame. Thank you for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.